Hello, I'm Kirba Garasu and I'm representing UKIP in this upcoming debate on the 8th of June. As I'm sure many of you are aware, we are nearing our inevitable election and it is imperative that in this election you make sure that you vote. But I'm sure that as citizens of the UK, you should not simply vote for any random party, but instead for the party that is the sure choice, UKIP. For a certain number of reasons I shall lay out during this speech, I shall show that UKIP is definitely the party to go for. However, through everything I say, I urge you to remember that whatever is said, it is because I and my party believe it is in the best interest of the people of this country. I would like to begin with immigration. In all truth, while it would be best for the UK to take as many immigrants as we want, it just cannot be done. We simply do not have enough space in our small island to accommodate for all these people. In fact, as it is, we are already struggling to manage our housing. In the past year, 596,000 immigrants have entered our country. This is significantly larger than the 323,000 that left our country. If we were to continue at this rate, it is evident that our immigration crisis will become fatal and beyond repair. In addition to this, we know very little about the people who are actually entering our country. Of the 596,000 that came into the UK, 268,000 were from the EU. However, 257,000 were from somewhere else in the world. We believe that this is the reason we have become so oblivious to terrorist attack. It is because of our lack of knowledge of the people in our country. To tackle these problems, UKIP would like to introduce a one-in, one-out system. This will hopefully solve all problems concerning immigration. For the next 5 years, we will stop unskilled and simple labour workers from coming into our country. For that, we can simply have our British people ourselves. Not only will this benefit our housing, but it will also benefit our people, giving us more jobs, as our country does come first. Secondly, we would only give visas to those who are highly skilled, such as doctors, engineers and whatnot, or students who have come here and only allowed here for educational purposes. We believe that while this may be a radical measure, drastic times call for drastic measures, and we believe that this is the perfect way to go. Nothing we have done so far has helped, and nothing Conservative has done so far has helped. But UKIP should surely change that. Secondly, I would like to move on to the NHS. The NHS is by far the most vital service in our country, providing free service for those who need it. Unfortunately, the NHS is clearly struggling and deteriorating. Without sufficient funding, the NHS is fighting just to stay on, and I would like to address this issue right now. UKIP realises this, and we have concocted a solution that not only for the NHS, but a second factor that has plagued the UK: mental health and the lack of treatment for it. First of all, we would like to invest £3 billion more into NHS. And while you may see this as a large amount, NHS is imperative to our country and is a key factor that makes Britain Britain. We as UKIP will make sure that it stays here, and we will try our best to make sure it does stay here. We believe that by doing this we can keep our beautiful service. When it comes to mental health, we will give a funding of between 130 to 650 million pounds. Mental health hasn't been properly addressed by Conservative, and because of this, we believe that UKIP is the political party that can properly tackle this issue. Next, I would like to move on to taxes. Taxes is a large part of any country. It always has been an important part of life since almost the very beginning of civilization. It is because tax is so important that UKIP sees it as such an important subject that must be considered carefully. I'm sure all of UK will be delighted, to say the least, that if UKIP becomes the leading party, there will be no tax rises. The people of UK will probably be even happier to know that we will cut all TV licenses and abolish them completely. In addition to this, we will also stop any VAT for household bills. We believe that this is not in the true benefit of those who are particularly wealthy, not in the true benefit of the government, but truly for the benefit of the citizens of UK. Next, I would like to move on to education, because education is by far the most important thing in anyone and everyone's life. It is what shapes your future and decides where you are going to go. UKIP sees its importance, and therefore we have made sure that this is a large part of our manifesto. Conservatives have done very well in one sense. They have brought back grammar schools. However, what they have failed to do is made grammar schools popular and easily accessible. We aim to tackle this issue. To make sure that grammar schools are everywhere, we will make sure that there is at least one grammar school in every town. Because grammar schools provide private school teaching for free, and such a service is vital and crucial. For that reason, we need to make sure that they are in every town and easily accessible. Next, I would like to move on to my final point, which is Brexit. As we have left the EU, it makes us our own independent country, and such independence needs to be celebrated. So if we win, we will make sure June 23rd will become our Independence Day, and in turn will be a bank holiday that will be celebrated throughout our entire country. However, such a holiday has a deeper meaning. Making such a holiday means that our decision will prove to the citizens of the UK that this is our final decision, that now Brexit is set in concrete, and once we can accept that, we can truly move on. We will certainly not be paying any divorce payment to the EU, nor any payment that will contribute to the EU budget, as we have clearly left the EU. Our last act of independence will be our passports. To fully prove that we are out of EU, UKIP will restore the previously blue British passports. This sends the same message as my previous points. This will show that that our decision is final, and that we all need to move on from Brexit and accept that it happened. We as UKIP hope that Brexit is done and dusted by 2019. To conclude, we hope you see that our manifesto is in the best interest of the British and people of the United Kingdom, and it will also be in the best interest of the British people to vote UKIP on the 8th of June. So we hope that on that day you vote right. We hope that on that day you vote UKIP.
Hello, my name is Miles Brown, and this is my speech for the Liberal Democrat Party. The Liberal Democrats exist to build and safeguard a fair, free and open society in which we seek to balance and the fundamental values of liberty, equality and community, and which no one shall be enslaved in poverty, ignorance or conformity. We champion the freedom, dignity and well-being of individuals. We acknowledge and respect their right to freedom and concise, and their right to develop their talents to the full. We aim to disperse power, to foster diversity and to nurture creativity. We believe that the role of the state is to enable all citizens to obtain these ideas, to contribute fully to their communities and take part in decisions that will affect their lives. Last June, the UK held an EU referendum to leave the European Union, and the Liberal Democrats were the only political party campaigning for the final say on whether or not we should leave the European Union based on the type of negotiation deal achieved at the end of the Article 50 process. This means that the people will choose to leave the EU and not the politicians, and we will have another EU referendum. Our key priorities are to add 1p to income tax to fund NHS and social care, rule out the coalitions with the Labour or Conservatives parties, but we want to make Liberal Democrats the official opposition. Increase spending on early years, schools, colleges in England, and also reverse some benefit cuts. immigration. Support the principle of freedom of movement between the UK and EU. Allow high-skilled immigration to support key sectors of the economy and welcome 50,000 Syrian refugees over 5 years and re-establish the Dubs Child Refugee Scheme. Education. Spend £7 billion extra on education, increasing school budgets and the pupil premier, oppose grammar schools and end the 1% cap on teachers' pay rises. Housing. Set target to build 300,000 new homes a year, create 10 new garden cities in England, stop right to buy housing association in tenants. Future for the UK. Home rule each nation within a federal United Kingdom. That means Wales, Ireland and Scotland have their own governments and make some decisions for themselves, but we will oppose Scottish independence. Foreign and defence. Commit to spending 2% of GPD on defence and maintain 0.7% GDP commitment for international aid, suspend arms sale to Saudi Arabia, maintain minimum nuclear deterrent, and now transport and environment. Introduce the diesel scrappage scheme, extend ultra-low emission zones to 10 or more towns and cities, set a legal binding target net of zero net greenhouse gas emissions by 2050 and oppose fracking. We are the political party for the people and the environment. Thank you for listening to my speech. Have a good day and vote the Liberal Democrats. And just remember, it's not about luck, it's about what's right.